Society is structured to distract people from the decisions that have a huge impact on happiness in order to focus attention on the decisions that have a marginal impact on happiness. The most important decision any of us make is who we marry, yet there are no courses on how to choose a spouse. David Brooks. Today we are going to learn lessons on the book, The Defining Decade, Why Your 20s Matters and How to Make the Most Out of It Now. As a 20-something myself, this book has touched on the integral part of the things young people face daily: their love life, work or career options, body and brains, and just how to navigate through this period of being a 20-something or even into your 30s. And so let's delve deep into this book and learn some lessons that will help change our lives. The author opens the book with a conversation on researches about 20-somethings, which indicates that most people in their 20s these days are single than a few generations back. And so now most people in their 20s are focusing on career, work. People want to have fun. People are not ready to commit to marriage yet. And this has led to many getting married in their 30s and their 40s. And you hear a lot of people saying that 30 is the new 20. She somehow indicates that the fact that you are doing something later doesn't mean you will do it better. And so the average age is rising. Divorce rate also holds fastly behind it at about 40% in the US and even also higher percent across other countries in the world. And so most people in their 20s do not want to rush to get married at a younger age, but they don't know what to consider. Marriage was something people worried about in their 30s, and now people want marriage in their 30s. And because of this kind of shifting, it leads to so many kinds of troubles. And so because things are changing, this is the time where most young people have had the time to choose whom, when, how, the kind of partner they want to marry. This freedom has led to people having happy unions. This freedom has also led to people making wrong decisions. And she says, regardless of whatever happens, the best time to work on your marriage is before you have one. Another issue she raised in this aspect of love was called the cohabitation effect. She says these days, because of the freedom most 20-somethings have, they are deciding that they would rather live together with whoever they are with before they get married, so that they'll get to know how the person behaves, how the person reacts, whether the person is clean or not. But she indicates that most people who live together before marriage end up in divorce than those who didn't live together. And so you should choose someone because you want them, and they're also choosing you because they want you, not out of convenience. She says that most people who decide to cohabitate with people, they now live like marriage couples. Somehow they get into this cohabitation mood. They find out that the person is not exactly who the person says he is, but because they are living together, sometimes they pay rent together, they feel like they have wasted so much time. Why don't you just manage and be in this rather than going to start all over again? Somehow they enter into their marriage and they end up divorcing because they just can't take it anymore. And so cohabitation doesn't necessarily mean that the marriage will work out. Another issue raised in the book talks about being alike. So when choosing couples, Aristotle, the philosopher, says that people love those who are like themselves. She says that being alike in ways that matter and genuinely liking who the person is very, very, very important. The more similar two people are, the more they are able to understand each other, the more they are able to understand how someone reacts, the way they react to certain things because of their similarity. She says that we usually hear things like opposites attract, but maybe they attract for hookup sex, and that's the more similar you are to somebody, the more compatible you are likely to be with this person. And so she indicates that couples who are similar in socioeconomic status, similar in age, similar in education, ethnicity, religious beliefs, values, intelligence, are more likely to be satisfied with each other and less likely to divorce. And so similarity is actually very important, and being alike is so important when it comes to choosing a spouse or choosing a partner. And though the way we talk about similarity, she says that you might think that means it's very easy to find a spouse, but these similarities matters differently, and people have their deal breakers. And so somebody might say that I am a Christian and I cannot go out with somebody who is not a Christian because I want to share the same spirituality and community. Another will say that I want somebody who is intellectually curious because I want to have enriching conversations. And so these similarities matters on levels, and people have their deal breakers and their deal makers. It also doesn't mean that you must find someone that you agree with on all levels. That's what she spoke about, deal breakers and deal makers. There are certain things you cannot compromise on, and you have to agree with this person who you want to be partnered with. But there are also other things like political beliefs where you can't agree to disagree, where you can always make jokes about, I support this political party, you support this, or just a few other things that you think are not deal breakers for you. She also says another thing to consider is personality, and that personality does not necessarily mean things we have done or the things we like, but somehow it's us and it's things that is part of us, and we carry it everywhere because our personality is in us. And so knowing the personality of the person, you might not necessarily agree on a lot of things, but the more similar your personality is, the more you agree on things and the more you'll be understanding of your partner. And so she says that be extremely picky about the things that might matter in 20 years, such as extreme differences in values, in goals, in personality, and whether you even like each other or not. She says that with marriages or relationships, there will always be differences of some kind, but statistically speaking, that's not what will kill a relationship. It's what you do with the differences. Do you know what the differences are going in? Have you thought about how they will affect your life? Are you prepared to bridge or even accept them? She says that most 20-somethings also struggle about work and career choices. So most are struggling with, what should I do with my life? I don't know which career path to pick. I don't know what to do with my life. Some have countless ideas and they don't know which one to pick or which one not to pick. But she says that the baseline to this is that make yourself relevant, make yourself interesting, do your homework to know what exactly you need or want, and then ask for it. And so the fastest way to getting something new is one phone call away, one email away, one question away, one just move away. Others will say no, and you learn to go with it. But it surprises you how many people will actually say yes to you. It says that when we make choices, we open ourselves up to hard work, to failure, and even to heartbreak. And so sometimes it feels easier not to make that choice, to make that decision, just to be and let life be. But whether you make choices or not, life will make choices for you, and you leave the consequences of not making choices or making choices later in your life. And so as a 20-something, you should sit down and ask yourself, what would you want to do with your life if you didn't win the lottery? What is that thing that you might enjoy doing? What is that thing that you would do that will help you live the kind of life you want? What are the things you think you'll be able to do for the next several years? Asking these questions will help you make the right decisions and the right choices. Another thing is that sometimes we use social media to look at the lives of our colleagues or classmates, and we think that we are falling behind in life. We hear them come to post about the glamorous jobs they are having, the positions they are getting, how much they are being paid a year, and you see yourself as a failure. But there's this quote that says that if we only wanted to be happy, it would be easy, but we want to be happier than other people, which is almost always difficult since we think them happier than they are. And so we spend most of our lives, let's say on Facebook, examining people's pages and contents and what they are posting than what we are actually adding to our content. We are made to somehow just be comparing our lives to other people and the glamorous things they post on social media for you to see. And so we spend our lives moving between should be's and supposed to's. So my life should have been this, I should have been in graduate school, I should have had this job, I'm supposed to. And so you spend most of your time rather thinking of the should be's and supposed to, instead of actually sitting down to working towards your life and making your 20-somethings a better time. And the choices you make will lead you into somebody who grows up as an adult who made best choices and living the life you actually want. And so moving on to the last portion of the book where she talks about our bodies and our brains, she goes ahead to talk about 20-somethings and how we handle criticisms. Most of the time, it's like our brain is so focused on the negative and the bad news, and they are the things we actually remember. But being able to manage your life is in such a way that you are able to overlook certain things. It's not anything that is said, so you focus so much on the positives, positive news, positive information, so that your brain will have a picture of things that are positive. So this is the time to build yourself. We usually think that people are natural. So you see somebody doing better and you think that, oh, this person was born with this ability. She says that naturals are a myth. If you see somebody confident and you want to be confident, you go and take classes on how to be confident. Go and practice being confident. There's nothing like a natural. Maybe some people might have an innate ability, but they actually practice. It took so many hours of practice for them to be confident. So if you want to be confident, go learn and be confident. Whatever you want to be, go practice, go put in the work, and just stop, let's say, admiring from afar. It's about choices, it's about decisions, and these choices and decisions will always have consequences. So whatever choices you make, whatever life you want to have, find a way to design that kind of life. Another important thing I want us to discuss lastly is that she says that be ruled by time. Sometimes when you are in your 20s, you think that I am so young and I still have a whole future ahead of me, but be ruled by time. You don't know when the time will pass. By the time you think 10 years have passed and you have not actually done anything with your life. And so choices, avoid procrastination, eat healthy, work out, do things that you will not regret in 10 years time or after you have left your 20s. And so this means that hang out with people that actually talk about the future. Do you know there are people who don't really care? I've always said that people who just say, let's see how it goes. So they're living their life by let's see how it goes. Day breaks, they just get up and see how it goes. The day ends, the month ends, the year ends, and they're just living that kind of life. But she says that consciously live with people who think about the future, people who care enough about the future. If you care enough about the future, then you will start working towards it. You start being conscious towards making your life better or working towards having a better future. So in conclusion, she says that the future isn't written in the stars. There are no guarantees. So claim your adulthood. Be intentional. Get to work. Pick your family. Do the math. Make your own certainty. Don't be defined by what you didn't know or didn't do. You are deciding your life right now. I hope you enjoyed this as much as I did. It was such an interesting read and I took so many days in reading it because I had to always sit there and ponder on the things she's saying. So I would recommend that after this video you actually go pick up this book and read for yourself, especially if you are in your 20s. I'll see you in my next video. Stay safe and bye bye.